And then the real battle begins in the emergency court case, that federal court case. Don't worry about the minor leagues with the dandy magistrates court. We're talking about serious
minor leagues.
We stepped up to the professional leagues here.
Coming into bat.
That's it, yeah. Yeah, it's a bit long in the tooth, but he's still got a good swing. Still got a good swing on him. So I've rocked up. Basically, I've rocked up with a family law expert, to deal with the family matters. And I've rocked up with my statement. My statement was like as thick as an old-fashioned phone book. You couldn't make it up. It was that much packed with facts, dates, minutes, seconds. You couldn't make it up. It was impossible. And it took us a while to collate and get the evidence through all the recordings that I had and this and that, through all the crap that we've been through the last 10 years. And she portrayed herself as the poor victim being abused in all sorts of ways. And I was the tormentor. That's how it was portrayed. Luckily, the judge we got was switched on. He was really, really switched on, and thank God, because I would have been screwed. I really would have been screwed. And I, maybe, took a particular interest in the case because it wasn't your humdrum, oh, he rooted that and she rooted that, so now that they're, separated, so what do we do with the children? Oh, I cut them in half, whatever. No, it wasn't the case like that. Yeah, old Solomon story. It was an atypical case. Where, and my lawyer said, look, you're in with a chance. It's not all doom and gloom. You're in with a chance. I said, look, I know. But, at the end of the day, it's not about vengeance. It's not about, look, I'm all for them to have a relationship with their mother. But she has to show improvement. She's got to get help. She's got to do many things before, I can trust her to spend more time with the children. And you remember, when I told you, what the, judges said, the conditions and this and that, they were pretty strict, weren't they? So at the end of the day, he was pretty switched on, so I was very lucky. And I remember she rocked up with a property barrister. Mind you, property is like the last thing they deal with. She came up with a property barrister, a QC, mind you. Well, that was exactly how. And how did they get this emergency, sitting of the federal court? Obviously, they know this guy. They know him, related through some God knows how. Well, it was like waving a red flag to a bull. The federal magistrate was switched on. He knew he was onto it, and I knew he read my affidavit, which was that thick. He knew it inside out. And the QC gets up there and he says, well, if you believe, the story that the opposition... And he kept on calling me names throughout the trial.
What do you mean?
Like calling me things to get a rise out of me, to make me, calling me a liar, calling me, all sorts of things. Backhanders. Trying to get a rise out of me, trying to make me look like I'm violent. I've got a temper. I wasn't born yesterday. I'm 10 steps ahead of him. I know what he's doing. So everything's cool. Just let it slip. He registered with the magistrate, though. He knows what he's doing. And he goes, well, he saw red. So, he goes, well, what are you doing? Yeah, we're not doing property yet. Yeah, it's like 3 years down the track, whatever, Yeah. Well, if you believe in, I'm representing blah, blah, blah. Okay, well, all right. And if you believe in the stories that this, he was calling me all sorts of things. And, this would make a great novel, a great, soapy, whatever, blah, blah, blah. So he asked him a couple of questions. He couldn't give him the answer.
As in the judge asked the property lawyer?
The property lawyer a couple of questions. He couldn't give her an answer. He hadn't even read the brief. He hadn't read nothing. And then he asked something else that he already knew the answer to, the judge. And they even got that wrong. And he said, well, he goes, what's going, well, he tore shreds off them, basically. He goes, where's the emergency? Kids are well looked after. They are at school. There's no reports from the school. There's no reports from, from the child services. Where's the emergency? They have a house to live in. Where's the emergency? Oh. They were trying to backpedal. He gave it to them. He knew they were just after, the property and the assets.
He turned up with a property solicitor to
instead of a family
court. Yeah.
Instead of a family expert lawyer.
What does that tell you?
Exactly.
Your priority is. Yeah.
Bang. He was switched on. Bless him. And he tore shreds off them. And then he goes, there's no emergency. You're wasting time. You're wasting the court's time. You blah, 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 blah. So he goes, children are fine. They're safe. I'm not overturning magistrate, from the initial one. He goes, on what grounds? He goes, on what grounds would I overturn her? What proof do you have? There was no proof. It was just all accusations. That's when I said to you, it all, they read everything. And that's why it irked me that, I was sort of guilty, you know what I mean? Like,
guilty by default just because.
Yeah. But he was switched on. He knew. So I was very not happy, but, just relieved that, something went my way. And he adjourned it. He goes, no. He goes, we're going to continue the proper way. He goes, we're going to do the, the family matters. And he made sure that he was going to catch this case. And he asked the legal secretary, am I free on, blah, blah, blah date? And she goes, yes. He goes, make sure that, blah, blah, blah. Okay. So, it got to the point where I was in court every other week, whether it was the magistrate's court or whether it was the federal court. And guess who's paying for all of this? Even her lawyers.
You had to pay for her lawyers?
Yeah, because where's it going to come out of, mate? She's got nothing. She can't work. She's on substances that makes her to the point where she can't work. How's she afford a QC?
How much money do you reckon you spent on the whole thing?
Too much. Mate, put it this way. I had to sell my assets and indebt myself in the home that I'm living in to pay off all my debts.
So at 40-ish, you were semi-retired.
And
then fighting false charges, which never occurred, that had no proof of any kind. You basically went back to being in debt and working again.
Zero. Back to zero. Yeah. What can I say, man?
Did the statement ever...
Such a fall from grace, it really was.
Did the statement ever appear anywhere?
No. It wasn't going to appear. They never put the statement together. That's my thoughts anyway. They just,
open and shut it.
They were trying to make sure that, they were protecting the female.
Okay.
Basically my words went out the door. That was in. And that'll come back to haunt me again. And another magistrate's, thingo. So at the end of the day, all these... my story was always about the children, like I said, and at the end of the day, we went back again to the federal court, and we were following the pattern. You take care of the family matters, you take care of the visitation rights and all that sort of stuff.
I was going to say, how far away from the incident? How far out are you now? As in, the stage that you're talking about.
Yeah, we're looking at maybe 9 months.
Okay. How were the kids doing in this whole process? Struggling or?
They were struggling, but then I always was reassuring them that, listen, you will see your mother, we will make time, we will, you'll have contact with her. And when she gets better, that, you will increase your contact with her,
Was it just phone calls and stuff by that point, or?
Yeah, at that stage, maybe the first 6 months, there was just a phone call once a week. And that continued. And then we tried to get, she had to get drug tested, but she didn't want to do it. Apparently she gave up, whatever. Still didn't want to do it. And then the judge said to her, well, this isn't, if your ex is such a liar, why don't you just discredit him? Take a drug test. Prove him wrong. Oh, if that's what your honour wants, that's what we'll do. That's the QC. 6 months later, or was it 3 months later, she still hadn't done it.
Take a swab. Takes 2 seconds.
Yeah, she still hadn't done it. And then they finally did it. And it came out.
Really?
How much crap has your body absorbed that, you've gone cold turkey and it's still registering?
Far out, man.
For multiple substances.
Okay.
So that was a win. And that sort of discredited them even further, to the point where, like, the details that they presented weren't quite correct. Obviously she's failed a drug test and she refused to take one for such a long time. So, her case is she's digging a hole for herself, basically. Yeah. And no, it doesn't matter how powerful the QC is. It's not gonna help. But this is the thing that I realised as well after the first federal court. And then, of course, the kids had to get their own lawyers. Kids' lawyers.
Kids' lawyers?
Yeah.
What do you mean, kids' lawyers?
Kids' lawyers. Third party.
What?
Yeah.
I didn't know they existed.
Yeah. And then, mind you, I had to go to court-ordered psychiatrists, psychologists, whatever they were, like how many times, by myself with the children, and they were very thorough. They wanted to know, have I worded up the kids, or is this true, or am I lying, or are the kids lying, what's going on? Everything came out legit. And they said, well, if I get called up, this is what I'm going to say. And in his report, he was all in favour of me, and that report was given to the magistrate, to the federal magistrate, and it was lodged to the courts, and everything was, like I was the responsible one. And from day dot, and that was really important, that day dot, the children only knew me. I was the mother and the father from day dot. So it was getting, for me in that terms, it was getting better and better that, okay, the children were going to stay with me, basically. Unless, something turned up.
The thing that's scary is, man, like, I know you're very measured and you're an intelligent guy, and you started sort of seeing everything fall into play as it was happening, and so you reacted accordingly to cover your own ass. But all it would have taken was one little move, one word, the paramicro, like the smallest little shit out of line.
Yes.
And you could have ended up in cuffs, getting beaten.
Yeah.
And it'd be like, throw it out. Yeah. He's not seeing this. He's not seeing anyone.
Yeah. And when things were really low, bang, again, she did something. She went to the magistrate's court and accused me of something.
Again.
So again, I had to go back to the magistrate's court. I got a letter in the mail saying, I'm supposed to go, and what? My daughter's meant to go to the magistrate's court? And I thought, wow. I said to myself, wow. I knew she's accused me of something terrible with no proof. So the day comes.
How far away was this after that?
This was maybe a year.
Okay.
So after the federal court, by that time we had visitation and stuff all down, all down pat, She, only saw them, twice a month and one phone call a week,
But that was court ordered. That wasn't you determining it.
No, that was court ordered. So she knows she's losing. She's doing everything she can to get the kids. Why? Because in her mind, she wins the house. She'll get benefits from the government, being a single mother, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
That's all it was about. It wasn't about the children.
Did you get any benefits at all? As in for being a single sole provider, parent, etc.?
You do, but it's nothing.
It's fuck all.
It's fuck all.
Yeah.
Okay. It's nothing. And at the end of the day, like I said, it was all about that for them. It wasn't about... No, she had no relationship with the children. How does she expect to suddenly,
you can't become this maternal figure.
Yeah, overnight.
Yeah.
From where?
Yeah.
Anyway, so this summons comes along. I'm like, what the hell's going on here? I haven't... So I rock up on my own, on that particular day, and no one knows what's going on in there. It's a big, everyone's overworked and no one knows what's going on. So I go to the prosecutor's little office. I knock on the door. I'm so and so. You know, I'll show him the letter. Yeah, okay. You know, yes.
Door 3 on the left.
Yeah.
Down the hall and to the left.
And I was under the impression that this was. By that stage, I'd caught her, vandalising my vehicle. On footage, she was arrested. She was taken away. She was in the jail and handcuffed, interrogated. She broke after a while. She was refusing. She finally broke. Yeah, she was taken from the back of the divvy van, apparently. So, back of the divvy van, so to local jail and station. And at that stage, I finally caught her. And I complained 3 times to the cops, and 3 times, we can't do anything unless you've got evidence. So I finally got her. And I thought it was in relationship to that matter. But she, he's accusing me of shit.
Hang on. What was the ramifications of her trashing your car?
Oh, she got arrested.
Okay.
And she got charged. But, once again, just like with, she got charged with...
vandalising or whatever.
Vandalising in the beginning of the house, the door. And then she copped it again for the car. Yeah, but these are just slap on the wrist because they keep on downsizing it, slap on the wrist. Here, you write a letter of apology or do community service or something. I don't know what it was.
That's what I'm saying. What does she actually get?
Nothing. It was just a slap. I mean, how many times is she going to, So, once again, off I go. Nobody knows anything. So I'm in this room. It's like an interrogation room. It's just like, it's just a chair and table. There's another chair on the other end.
Picture one of those interview rooms in high school where it's just a round table and 4 walls, 2.5.
Not even. Just a little
2.5 metres by 2.5 metres.
And I'm waiting. And I'm looking at the time. I said, well, I'm supposed to appear and, whatever. And I'm like, this is no good. Mind you, I've been to the Maggies maybe, probably the 4th time, Sorry, and before that, with the car happened before, she got arrested and whatever. And then on top of that, the copper bangs on my door one night and goes, here's $5, come to the Dandenong, magistrate's court. I said, what's the $5 for? That's too sure that you get there, even if to take public transport.
$5?
$5. You know how much a ticket costs on the bus? You have no idea. And then I said... And then, they're talking to me, they're going to do this, they're going to do that, but they're going to downgrade it to this and that. I said, well, okay, you've told me to come to the Imagine. Now you're telling me you don't want me because you've downgraded it, and now you're telling me that I'm an unreliable witness. Why am I an unreliable witness? Because in your statement, you said this, and now you're telling us this. I said, but that's not my statement. But you signed it. Remember the first...
Oh, from back then?
From back then, yeah.
But you were you were told that the statement would come in the mail.
Yeah. I'm still waiting for it. It hasn't appeared. So I was an unreliable witness, so they couldn't call me.
An unreliable witness to an event that happened in your house?
Yeah.
That you called cops for?
Yeah. And the children witnessed. And,
Okay. No worries.
And there's hard evidence, That's what I'm saying. It all came back to bite me in the ass. I'm thinking, well, look... I said, well, that's not the case. I said, where's my statement? He goes, this is your statement. I said, no, it's not. That's her side of the story. Where's my side of the story? They're looking at me strangely, I'm out of my mind. No, cut that over. All right, I understand. So, anyway. And then that happened when I was summoned to go to the magistrate's court. And mind you, she's already been, prosecuted and convicted of some minor, Is
this directly to you or something else?
This was directed to me and my daughter.
Okay.
And then we were to appear. But, I said, no, stuff it. You go to school, I'll rock up there and see what's going on. I didn't care by that stage.
You didn't know what was actually happening?
No. I sort of...
you've got a summons to go, but it's been a year. Now you're a year out.
Yeah, my hair's I think she's accused me of something. So I rock up. I'm in this, room. I'm waiting for the, police prosecutors or whatever they are to come and talk to me. No one appears. No one knows what's going on. Oh, okay. So I go, well, I'm going to miss out on my summons in the court. So I walk out, go into the courtroom. Like you said, magistrate sees me.
Hey.
Hey, Odysseus. Hey, Judge. How you going?
Been a while.
Been a while, yeah. Oh, it's been, 2 months since I last seen you? Yeah. No worries. Yeah. I was just waiting for for so-and-so to appear, my ex.
Yeah.
Didn't appear. So she's created all this fuss, and she didn't even appear.
Yeah.
police prosecutor stands up. Obviously, they're doing background checks while I was in the
Background checks on what?
my daughter's situation, I suppose.
Okay.
Make sure that she's okay. They must have rung the school counsellor, children, what is it? Child, what is it, that department that they have?
The welfare thing.
Welfare, yeah. They must have rung them.
Coordination office or something.
Yeah, we've got no records of them. All right, they're fine. So, and she, the magistrate remembers me from prior and all those other cases. And she must have also. And I said, okay. So I know it's been a long road for you, blah, blah, blah. And we said, okay, well, at the end of the day, and she said, oh, I know it's been a long road for you, and we'll, police prosecutor, what do you have to say? Nothing, no charges, no, whatever, blah, blah, blah. What the hell? I'm like, what?
So they issued you a summons. They got you down there, they made you wait, and then it's like, well, what are the charges? Oh, nothing. So what were you doing there?
I don't know. Till this day, I don't know. She didn't appear, so they couldn't ask her any questions, and I'm like, I don't know. I wasn't summoned to go to a police station. I wasn't interviewed. I wasn't anything. I was just told to go to the magistrate's court. And I did. Without a lawyer too, which was pretty risky for me. I learned the hard way. If you're going to go anywhere, bring a lawyer with you. But at that stage, mate, they're like, $5,000 a pop. It's a lot of money.
Fuck me.
So, but I was first name basis with the magistrate. So,
high-fiving people when you're walking in.
Yeah. So,
hey, Jerry.
There you go, mate.
How's the kids?
Yeah. So they must have done the background checks. And I said, well, there's nothing to answer for. They said, there's none. He goes, we withdraw. Everything's withdrawn, they said. That's all I remember. Everything's withdrawn. Whatever that means. Okay. And then the magistrate said, well, that's it. She asked her, well, how long have you put the AVO for? The police said, we were asking for 2 years maximum, whatever it was. She said, no, it's not going to do. So asked me, how old are your kids? I told them, mate, I've never seen it. She's put on like a 7-year AVO on her.
As in not to come anywhere near your house.
Yep.
And you.
Yep.
7 years?
Was it 7 years or 5? I can't remember.
So essentially till the kids are like
5
teenagers
years.
or whatever.
Adults.
Yeah.
Till the kids are adults. She made sure that the kids were adults by the time this AVO come off. And now my jaw dropped. I thought, well, AVO's only like 2 years tops. Yeah. But she's gone beyond. And I've still got the AVO at home. It's just crazy. Absolutely crazy that from fighting so hard to get my voice heard to false accusations of all sorts, God knows what, to the point where I'm first name basis with a magistrate and, hey, get up, mate, there you go. Yeah. So it's just a crazy, crazy world where the women just can accuse anybody of anything without any shred of proof, and it's seen as gospel.
That's enough to get you arrested. It's enough to get you thrown in, standing in front of a judge, AVOs, all types of shit.
Yeah.
During this time, was your ex still contacting you personally, or was
no, didn't talk from the day my lawyers were trying to contact her to say, what's going on? What do you want to do? They couldn't even get a hold of her. She was just too bombed out. She was just,
Okay.
no one get a hold of her.
So it ended there. Like there was no more antagonistic behaviour after that.
Yeah. Well,
more or less.
Yeah. No, nothing biggie. No big things.
Yeah.
But they do things to roll you up every so often.
Yeah. That's just people being shitty people.
Yeah.
But it's no more lawyers or accusations and stuff like that. Has that all ceased? How long has it been now? That was 20... So when did it all sort of come to a head and finish?
Well, I finally got my decree nisi. So it sort of ended in 2019. And then 2020, I actually got my decree nisi, which is the divorce papers.
Yeah.
So, but that was just a matter of lodgement.
Yeah.
Mind you, that's not that wasn't the only thing that was happening. In between all that, there was all sorts of stuff that was happening, like police rocking up and, at hours, all type of hours, parking outside the front of my house, blocking my driveway so I couldn't get out.
To do what?
Oh, we're just waiting for your missus. What for? Well, she's going to come in and get some stuff. Well, we've already organised that, and she hasn't turned up. And I have to leave, and I have to, you know. In the back of my mind, I'm thinking, no, they're going to come and get the children. Because I had a bit of a run-in with one of the officers.
Yeah.
Because they couldn't read the AVO properly.
What do you mean?
Well, on the AVO, it writes down that, okay, children are protected, they're against, you know, the other person. However, you know, by that stage there was a federal court statement, the federal court orders saying that she's allowed to do this, this, this and this. And the AVO is like, she can't go anywhere. So it's really difficult to interpret, I suppose, but there is a clause where it says that, you know, they are to live with me permanently, whatever. And then I was accused of, well, do you know that you're in breach of the AVO? And this is from a female police officer. Really? Explain to me why I'm in breach of the AVO. Well, you know, you've got the kids, blah, blah, blah. I said, well, why don't you read closely on that paragraph, subsection this and that. In terms of the AVO, you know, it can't overturn the final court orders. Yeah. Oh, you know, what are you going to do? You're going to, you know, I go, you touch my kids. And I said, I'm going to sue you. I'm going to sue the state government, and I'm going to have your job. They were doing all sorts of, I don't know, you know.
All this time.
And this in the middle of the night. And every time I complained to them, they were scoffing at me. They were like, oh, yeah, you're a big guy. You can look after you. Yeah. But it's like they didn't believe me, you know, that she was, you know, terrorising me.
I think it says a lot about the stigma of reporting that sort of shit. And it really skews the statistics. There's a reason why men are killing themselves in greater numbers every year.
Yeah.
Especially in our age group.
Yeah.
You know, from 28 or whatever it is through to like 55, etc.
Yeah.
There's a reason.
Yeah.
Because we're not allowed to be seen as weak, vulnerable,
That's
emotional. Right. It's like, oh, you can handle yourself. It's like, I don't want to handle myself.
No.
I want to be able to just get up and do my job.
Yeah.
Have a house and not have to worry about some nut job.
That's right. Yeah.
Coming to attack me.
Following me.
Yeah.
Following me. And then attacking my property when, you know, my back's turned. Like, what's next? Personal attacks as well?
Yeah.
It was a real fear. You know, and the thing is that if I was to turn around and defend myself, I know that I'm the one that's going to get arrested, not that person, not the other person.
Oh, you're the aggressor, clearly.
Yeah, clearly the aggressor. Yeah.
So how's it ended now, like with your kids and visitations and stuff?
Oh, look, it's, you know, it's we try to follow to
whatever the
guidelines is. You know, it's, you know, we can come to agreements and all that, but, you know, obviously she always wants more. But, you know, she hasn't improved. She hasn't improved at all.
Doesn't she have to register anything?
She got away with not doing drug tests when the court told her she has to have drug tests prior to children visiting her. Now, I couldn't even enforce that. But if it was me, it would have been enforced for sure.
You would have had a rubber glove up you every 20 minutes, man.
Yeah, yeah. And that's what gets me. And she got away with that. And I know clearly that she was on the gear. Because I had that little interaction, you know, that I did have with her, like handing over the kids. I could see it clearly. And it used to irk me.
And even now, like, I mean...
The kids tell me that, you know, she hasn't changed.
But, hang on, man. The whole issue stems from substance abuse in regards to, like, I mean...
She's meant to go get help. It's in the court orders.
But that's what I'm saying.
It's in the court orders.
Haven't they followed that up?
No. It's stamped, it's over. They're not going to follow nothing up. Next.
Do you get followed up with anything at all?
No.
So they've left you alone now to your own devices?
Pretty much. Yeah. And that's what irked me, that she got away with a lot that I could never get away with. And that really it does upset you. It upsets thinking, like, if it was reversed, that, you know, like you said, I'd have a rubber glove up me every other day to prove that, you know, I'm a fit, you know, parent.
And the irony is that you've still had to keep maintaining a household, keep working, keep doing everything.
Exactly. I did everything.
You couldn't afford to lose a beat.
No.
But she's essentially not lost anything.
Yeah.
She's still doing what she was always doing. Just made your life
miserable.
Hell.
Yeah.
But, you know, good 2-year stretch you were in and out of courts and selling shit to just keep afloat.
Yeah. Yeah. And in the end, you know, I thought to myself, wow, this is like, I can't believe all this has happened. Oh, and the financial settlement was interesting.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
To put it mildly.
Yeah.
Whilst this is all happening, I know, I'm getting the idea that, lawyers are not working for you. They say they're working for you, but they're not.
No, they do.
They're hand in hand with all the lawyers. All lawyers know each other, and they do favours for each other, whatever.
Send me that letter. I'll charge a client $500.
Yeah.
I'll reply to it. I'll charge my client $600.
Yeah. And, at the end of the day, you scratch my back. If you need a concession from my client, I'll force him to, I'll twist his arm to concede on some point just to, help you out. And, so your client thinks that you're doing something. I was onto them. Within the first month. I sat down with them, man. I set them straight. I said, look, you're working for me. You're not working for them. You're not working for the other lawyer either. I'm paying the bills. At the end of the day,
literally paying every bill.
Everyone gets paid through me. If they don't lift the caveat, I can't sell anything. No one's getting paid. Oh, well, we'll sell your house. We'll put, that's fine. But like I said, before you do deals, you run it through me because I'm paying your bills. And morally, that's what they have to do. Shouldn't they be running it through me before they make deals and then coming up and say, well, this is what we're going to do and blah, blah, blah. No, you run it through me. And then I'll tell you what you're going to tell them. No, it wasn't like that. They were trying to do side deals. They were trying to do, backhanders, whatever, trying to get a result, trying to get a good result for both. I didn't see it that way.
It's not about a good result for both.
No,
it's a fair result.
It's a fair result, and it's a result that takes into consideration the children's needs. And the children's needs was great. They were already had, so much done to them, and they needed all the help they could get, And even the independent children's lawyer rocks up to the court, hey, I'm ready to do a deal. What deal are you talking about? Your report says that the children legit, they don't want to see their mother, they'd rather just visit her for a couple of hours under supervision, and then you're ready to do a deal with them? Sing Kumbaya over the campfire and, toast marshmallows every other weekend? Seriously? Seriously, what the hell is going on?
I find it strange that she hasn't had to do any self-reporting for visitation, given that she has a substance abuse problem.
Exactly.
Proven substance abuse problem.
Yeah, not just accusation, but proven.
Yeah.
By their own test, not my test.
And your accusations went out the window, so you're technically a clean sheet. As in on paper.
Yeah.
You're a clean sheet.
Yeah.
She has substance abuse problems, but she hasn't had to report.
And was found she has deep issued through all the psychiatric sort of assessments that she had to go through. I had to go through too. She had to go through as well. And it was
you passed, obviously.
Yeah, and they said that she needs a lot of help. And she should continue to get help or find help.
Is there help available to her?
Well, it's available to anyone. That if you look for it, you can find it.
But that's what I mean. It's not like she got cut out from anything.
No. And I've always said it. And even the psychiatrist or psychologist said, you seem like a reasonable person. I remember him talking to him. I said, yeah. If she ever get better, would you encourage your children to? I said, hell yeah. I wouldn't be here if she was reasonable. If she was reasonable, I wouldn't be in the situation, The fact that she can't look after them. Look, I would have walked away a long time ago. I take the kids, see you later, have fun, whatever, blah, blah, blah. At least I know they're getting looked after. And that was the whole point of my whole aim. All the court cases was about the children and who can look after them better. That's what it was down to.
Who has the capacity to even
to look after them? And then, my lawyer said, you're in with a chance. If all what you're saying is true, then you're in with a chance.
It's funny how, if all what you're saying is true, you were in front of a judge based on what someone said, just
bingo,
just for the fuck of it. That's actually a hard pill to swallow.
Yeah, and then say, I gave them the evidence, the recordings, and they said to me, how bad do you get?
Yeah,
I just listen to any one of them. Pick and choose whichever one you want. You'll see that I don't even say boo. And then they're trying to throw it out. It's inadmissible. Why is it inadmissible? Because it's, it wasn't taken with her consent. And I said, no, the judge has the discrepancy, especially the federal magistrate's judge, has the discrepancy to listen. I said, firstly, she was in no She had no capability of consenting to anything, let alone, consenting to doing it or not doing it. But it was for her own safety and for the safety of the children and myself. I was legitimately in fear for our safety, physical safety.
Now, let me ask you a question. How far back do you reckon it set you?
Day dot, mate. Day dot. I'm starting from scratch.
Your kids adjusted now?
They're resilient. I've brought up a pair of resilient children, level-headed. Oh, they get them. I mean, it's like all children, but that's to be expected. But they're happier.
They understand the whole situation.
Oh, totally, and they can see it. I don't have to say anything to them. She digs her own grave with her own shovel. I don't have to do anything or say anything. They see it. They witness it. Oh, if they get a bit confused, they'll come back and they'll say, "Hey, so-and-so saying this about you. What happened?" I tell them, "Oh, this is what I recollect. This is what I remember happening." "Oh, that's not what Mum's saying."
So it's still going back and
all
forth.
This is happening, and they're asking about things and, what's going on. This and that. And look, I have to explain myself because, I've always been truthful to them. I've always been,
It sounds like they matured well beyond their time.
Well beyond.
So you're not going to gain anything by lying or sugarcoating anymore.
No.
You just have to.
And I don't want to be 20 years later being accused of, you lied to us about, blah, blah, blah. I don't have to worry about that. And they are mature beyond their years, resilient.
I remember with my parents, I remember my old man sitting me down when I was about, I think, 20, and he said a few things when my parents actually officially got divorced or whatever it was. And I'm like, why didn't you tell us half of this shit 15 years ago, 10 years ago? I might have had a bit of an insight.
Yeah.
Oh, you were young, I go, mate.
Yeah. You wouldn't understand.
I go, at 15, I would have understood.
Yeah.
Yeah. Give me a break.
Yeah.
Okay, you're the malaka for keeping this, within you.
Yeah. Yeah. The other thing that really I saw as in, like I said before, I was paying for everything, yeah? And it came to the time for the property settlement. Now, it's a complicated matter and, they assess what you've got and how much it's worth on the property values, whatever, this and that. And then, you go to a negotiation and they have an arbitration guy. Now, what is your viewpoint on an arbitration guy?
Well, an arbitrator would be down the middle.
Bingo. Hello. Down the middle.
An impartial arbitrator.
Impartial, yeah.
Isn't that part of the title?
Exactly. So I had the partner, the law firm, the actual principal partner of the law firm with me, but she happened to be female.
Okay.
So the others were all men. She hardly got a chance to say a word. They were just all over the top of her. Literally. We couldn't even this is the arbitrator. Walks in, well, if you don't put this figure in front of her for 13 years of marriage, I'm not even going to go back there and give him what you want to give her. You know what? I should have just stood up and say, well, you know what? You're not an arbitrator. You're an advocate for them. Your job is to be going backwards and forwards, passing on, what we think and negotiating, and you're just the messenger. You're meant to be going up and down. You're not meant to be, ganging up on me and saying that, the QC were best mates or something with him. That's my back of my mind. That's what I was thinking. He knows everyone. And that's what the QC, he's probably known this guy for all ages, but that's what I'm saying. The lawyers all know each other. We rub your back, rub their back, whatever, blah, blah, blah. They know it's all, it's supposed to be impartial, but it's not.
The sad thing is, like I said, you'll foot in the bill for all these fuckers.
Exactly. And they wouldn't, that's, and that's what it came down to. All he wanted to do was get paid. The property, QC wanted to get paid. At the end of the day, and who's going to be footing that bill? Well, obviously me. And they were pushing it, and they were pushing it, and they were pushing it. This is why it all happened so quickly. The divorce, was all wrapped up within 1 and a bit years. It was unbelievable how quickly it was all wrapped up.
What happens if you couldn't pay?
I'll sell the house.
So then your kids...
Yeah. And at that stage, that was quite a possibility because I couldn't get finance anyway. Because once they heard what court case and what caveats or what, no bank wants to touch you. Doesn't matter what you got, mate.
So hang on, the caveats were up because you had all the false accusations.
caveats were up because that's what they do in divorce cases.
Yeah, but it only got dragged out because of all that other shit.
Probably, I don't know. And they wouldn't take the caveats off. So I said, well, how do you expect me to pay you? So then I had to run around in the midst of everything else that's going on. I'm trying to get refinance. I'm trying to find a way of financing the settlement.
And your ex didn't have to do shit?
Nothing. Just demands and accusations. And guess who's footing the bill?
I love
And the fact that, the arbitration guy, who's supposed to be impartial, well, where did that go?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm not going to put that, unless you put this amount on, to her. I'm not, I'm not even going to pass it on. But that's your job, Malaka. You're a messenger. You're meant to be going backwards and forwards between the two parties. You see how it all works? The man pays for it all.
How are you now, like yourself?
How do I look?
You look good, to be honest. You look better than me, man. No, but like coming out of all of that.
Look, I've sacrificed a lot.
I know that I've had to open up old wounds now, which is shit. But looking back, do you reckon you're in a better place mentally, having removed yourself from that?
For sure.
Yeah?
For sure. Look, I remember the first few months, I could still hear her voice screaming in the back of the yard. And I would be looking around thinking, oh, fuck, is she back in? How'd she get back in? I was like, psychosis, I could hear it.
Here's a question. Has the system offered you any help, as in through the whole thing? Whether it was a counsellor, whether it was whatever? Like specifically said, here's some numbers to call?
The federal government Centrelink did. They reached out, which I shit my pants when they reached out. But it was due with a question that, it was some sort of mix-up. I can't remember what it was. Obviously, she tried to do something and it didn't work out, and then they were calling me. And I set them straight. This. And I was sick as a dog as well, again, because of all the stress and whatever. Mate, I'll never forget that day. I mean, the little relief that they gave me, I thought it was heaven sent. And it was literally because of the other guy on the other sort of end of the phone was willing just to listen to me. Like from not being heard to getting someone voluntarily just listening to me and then giving me numbers and, hang on, mate, I'll give you, you can do this. And, oh, look, we can help you with this and that. And, it's not much, but we can give you this amount to help you out to, godsend, absolute godsend.
I remember when you came to work that day after the third incident with the car. And your face has just changed. Yeah. Like you had life back. Your colour just started coming back to your cheeks.
Yeah.
I can't imagine like that weight that would have just been lifted. You know what I mean? The first step of going in the right direction of someone actually supporting you.
Yeah. Yeah.
What do you have, as far as advice goes for anyone in a similar circumstance, what can you give anyone? Because the numbers are skewed.
They are. And look, my case was atypical. It wasn't your normal, I rooted someone and she rooted someone and we just, whatever. I had something to really fight for. The future of my children. And that's what it was all down to. I didn't care about myself. I didn't care about, anything else, just my children. I needed to give them a future. I couldn't see them have a future with the ex. How could you? How in good conscience could I hand them over to her? And that's what it all came down to. And that came across in the court case. It came across. It was eventually heard. In the federal court, it was heard more so than in the civil dandy court, because you can imagine what they say.
Oh, every rabble under the sun.
Yeah. I couldn't believe I had to bring a barrister to, just to be heard, No one wanted to even listen to the,
I was going to say, if your ex was of sober mind, it could have been a lot worse for you straight off the bat.
Yes, and quite possibly, look, if she was sober or if she was, able to look after herself, yeah, it would have been shared custody. Like they would have lived with her half the time, they would have lived with me half the time.
All it takes is one malicious, sort of vengeful person.
Yeah.
But not when it's a man. We can't just drum up false accusations.
I had a car that was damaged and I go there and say, listen, You know, it's damaged. I know who did it. Go and ask the question. That's all I wanted to do. Just go ask the question. Where were you on such and such date? They wouldn't even do that. Happened the second time. Once again, there's not much we can do unless you get them red-handed.
What do you reckon was the saving grace that actually got you through to the next step? Where do you reckon it all changed? What did you do right in order to... 2 points.
The fact that they didn't take the kids off me on that first day at the Magis court, put them in welfare. That was a turning point. That, thank God that, someone was listening. Eventually, after I had to, put the heavies on them, that was crucial to the whole thing. And that was like within the first 2 days of the whole thing kicking off. That was crucial. And the fact that, I was thinking about it all the wrong way when it initially happened. And I had the epiphany saying, oh, shit, not about me or whatever. It's the children. And, for good or worse, she's the mother. They need to have some sort of contact. And I'm willing to, to accommodate certain ways, And the fact that I came across eventually, as willing and as, I'm not vengeful. I'm not, it's not about revenge. And I've actually put that in writing. It's not about vengeance. I'm a reasonable person. You know how many, I was sitting in the waiting room for the psychiatric interview, psychologists and big tough guys be walking in. You could hear them from, inside the office, and then they storm out slamming the door or whatever, obviously they're in the wrong mindset, The X. Right, you got a lot of anger. You've got a lot of anger.
You need to chill, mate.
Chill out,
I remember.
So unreasonable.
This stuck with me forever, man. I was in the florist the day before Valentine's Day, like 10 years ago. You know what I mean? I said it a while back on the podcast. I said Valentine's Day, I'll always get flowers from my mum and my auntie. And I've been doing that since 2003, 2005, I don't know. I remember being there, and I'm just lining up waiting to buy a box of some shit, order or whatever. And there was a bloke, looked angry as all fuck, like red eyes like he'd been drinking. And he's standing there, and then he said, box of this or whatever. And so they're wrapping it up or putting it through the order. And he looks at me and he goes, oh, if that fucking shuts her up for one fucking day. I'm like, I just looked at him and I was like, yeah, man. I just got the fuck out of there. Yeah. Mate, are you really, really in that frame of mind?
Oh, yeah. But, at the end of the day, God knows what he's going through. God knows what he's going through. Seriously, I saw many guys like that in the courts, in the magistrates, in the federal court. I mean, your heart goes out to them because they just didn't know how to handle it. And they were being so aggressive and in
that's
their
what
manners.
I mean. You're a reasonable person.
Yeah.
You're intelligent and you had the foresight to sort of keep it under control lest it get even worse for you, which it easily could have.
Yes,
These
easily.
guys,
no.
Your typical dandy, noble, Doveton.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I saw a lot of that.
Man, we worked with how many of these dudes, man?
Yeah.
Remember that there was that guy, I won't name him, but I remember how he his ex moved to the NT just to take the kids with her. To fuck him over.
To fuck him over, that's right.
Literally.
Yeah.
And then he finally took, I remember that and he was sending money.
Yeah.
And then she had a new boyfriend or whatever, and he was sending money to cover the rent.
Yes. So the boyfriend can live with them?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How insane is that?
Yeah, I know. But you know what? He could have turned so bad for me that I could have been put in that situation as well. But the fact that the children came across and they were so adamant that no, they want to be with their father. They feel safe. They feel comfortable. This is their world. This is where they live. This is their little community. They're, members of the church and the community and the, everything. And it came across really clearly.
I had a mate had an issue with an ex. She was on smack, I think. Literally came home, robbed, flown up north with the kid, kidnapped the kid essentially.
Well, essentially, yeah.
And he was working like 18-hour days to keep it sort of going.
Yeah.
And he was called cops, called this, called that. She accused him of a whole bunch of shit.
As they do.
And he was preparing for court.
Yeah, as they do.
I still remember it.
Yeah.
He had evidence, he had this, he had that, and it was still a matter of, what do you want?
They don't want to see it. They don't want to see the evidence. In my case, in the beginning, they didn't want to see it.
Why do you think that is?
Because it makes their job harder.
Do you reckon that's what it is?
Yeah.
I mean, we keep hearing about a patriarchal society and but
if you see how dead these people are in the eyes, these prosecutors are just so overworked, and the staff, everyone's just like, it's just a number. They just want to get rid of it straight away. They're soulless. They're dead. Like there was prosecutors that didn't know what was going on. Literally didn't know what was going on.
It's sad too. Like I've got friends that worked with DHS and like social work and stuff like that. And the burnout, they say the burnout for that period is 7 years. Past 7 years, and you're just dead to it.
Yeah.
Some of the horror stories I used to hear from friends debriefing with me, just in passing.
Yeah.
And and they'll tell me the system's so backed up they can't actually action anything.
Yeah.
So they've got clients just sitting on waiting lists, still in the same shit, still dealing with domestic violence or still dealing with this or ABC, but there's nowhere for them to go because the system's just that clogged.
Yeah. Yeah. Look, I don't know what it was, but, I was so paranoid they were going to take the children away from me, paranoid. Every movement, every cop car they used to park outside front of my home, paranoid that they were just going to take the children away. And I just couldn't do it. Not the fact that, I wanted the children for selfish reasons, but it was adhika, it was not, you know what I mean? It was
like baseless or unjust?
Unjust, just unjust, Like, here I am. I'm like, I felt like Job in many ways. I'm sitting in the ruins, in the ashes of what once used to be my beautiful home, my beautiful family, whatever. I tried to keep it together for how long, The children are beautiful, not, whatever. And then having everything taken away. I mean, literally, I was thinking, well, I'm not even going to have a home. I'm not going to have nothing, absolutely nothing, scratch from zero, But I had to keep it together. I had to keep it together for the children. I had to keep it positive, try to be positive, not crying in front of them, oh, poor me, Job, even though I felt like it on the inside. At the end of the day, it's like I said, there was a couple of turning points, and every step I got to was like, okay, we did that, we did it well. We passed that hurdle. The next step was the family matters. Okay, we did that, we did it well. Let's prepare for the next step. It's all about preparation. It's all about getting into the mind of the lawyers, getting into the mind of what the magistrate wants to see. They want to see someone that's got their shit together. They want to see someone that is capable of looking after the children and, is not crazy or whatever. You know what I mean? And so I was just concentrating on each step. Let's get over that. And each step we were winning. Although the financial settlement, I felt like I've just been raped. Because they shut up my lawyer.
What do you mean?
They just shut her up because she was female. Oh, it's a boys' club. Oh, whatever. They just totally, no, unless we see this amount in front of them, I'm not even going to pass it on. Yeah. What the, seriously, guys. It's meant to be like arbitration, like in the middle, not taking anyone's side. And I was saying, all right, let's adjourn it. I'm not going to, do it. And yet, no. If you adjourn it, you're going to added costs, whatever, blah, 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 this and that. So I settled it.
Sometimes you just have to write it off.
Yeah.
That's it.
Oh, man. It hurts, but, for someone that didn't even put a dime, literally a dime, into the relationship, just took and took and took.
What advice do you have to people that are going through the same thing with courts and stuff?
Just prepare. Just prepare. It's not all about what you've gone through. I know that you've gone through like emotional stuff and all that sort of stuff is horrendous. And in my case, it was pretty horrendous. But you need to prepare and you need to focus on what matters. And the safety of the children was paramount. It was paramount. So I focused on that. And that's what they want to see. They want to see, all right, which, parent, look, it'll be shared custody. Okay, it's shared custody. As a lot of guys would walk away with nothing because they couldn't deal with it. They wouldn't fight for shared custody. It's all they stay with me or they don't stay with me at all. No, it's not that. The children need both parents in some form. And And that's what they need to focus on. Okay, what realistically, speak to your lawyers. What are the outcomes? What's worst case scenario? What's best case scenario? Most people will get shared custody. They'll 50-50. Okay? Most people will do that if they fight for it, if they think it's worth fighting for. They're going to get screwed over financially. Doesn't matter which way. As long as you can minimise that or try to minimise that.
Just jump on the grenade before it explodes.
Yeah. Put your helmet on your ass and jump on the grenade.
Wow.
Seriously. And you just got to, you're screwed. You're screwed because in the end of the day, the man's going to pay for everything. Because the wife's incapable of working full time because she's looking after the children, blah, blah, blah. Well, how about the man, Oh, no, that's old-fashioned thinking. It's not like that. They'll tell you it's not like that, it's equal, blah, 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 blah. But it really it's not. No, I don't think so. I really don't think so. Because too much weight is placed on accusations, I think. But, look, I've mellowed out a bit and thinking about it. Look, it could have been a lot worse. Like I said, I had to get my voice heard somehow. Lawyer up if you have to. Like, if you've got to get a magistrate if you have to get a barrister for the magistrate's court, do it.
What does it cost to get a lawyer for a barrister for the magistrates?
No, if you get a normal, like I said, depending on their experience, it could cost anywhere between $1,000 to $5,000.
For a session.
Doesn't matter whether 5-minute German or 5 hours.
That really hurts, man.
Yeah.
I hope to God that I don't need to be in court anytime soon.
But if you ever have to go to talk to cops, this is what I learned: lawyer up. Don't go without lawyering up. Don't go to the magistrate or wherever court without lawyering up. Making sure you've got someone that can speak on your behalf. Because really, they don't even know. You're sitting there like a dummy. And unless they specifically ask you a question, you're not allowed to answer. You're not allowed to stand up and object or whatever. Because if you do, it's like, he's unreasonable. He's a bit of a, loony.
Why? Because he wants to have his say.
Because we don't know how to approach. Do you know what I mean? We don't know how to approach the bench. We don't know how to, we come across as, hang on. Oh, yeah.
It's a lot of little bullshit bureaucracy, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's there for a reason. I get it.
It is to protect them. I get it. I get it.
But you can't. I love how it's like when they say you'll have your day in court. Like, no,
not really.
You'll appear.
You'll appear
on a day in court.
Unless it's a criminal matter with the jury and whatever. Yeah, then you'll get your day in court.
Yeah, then
But this is more like civil stuff. You know what I mean? It's not. It's not like it's it's different. You'll get your day in court, yeah. I got plenty of days in court, mate. All baseless. All baseless. It really was. It was just the fact that they could accuse you of everything and you just have to rock up and try to deflect it, try to say, well, with what proof? False imprisonment, man. How could it be false imprisonment at a dim when, I'm working every day. She's got cars, she's got keys, she's got the children, she's got it's not like she's a gimp and I've, handcuffed her and I've got her in I've got her
out of the box.
Yeah, I've got her in a trunk in the garage. It's not like, it's like she's a gimp outfit. It's like, hey, she's got the run of the house. She even got her own bank account, bank card connected to my account, like, how baseless is that? Even the first time I remember the ethnic cop goes, it's strange that, you're going to work 12 hours a day, whatever. And what, she hasn't done a runner? She hasn't gone to the neighbours? She hasn't gone to the cop station? She hasn't gone back home to her mum? With all these accusations?
Yeah. This poor man.
Yeah.
All I can say is thank you for coming down. Sorry to dredge it all up again, but I hope you can see it as a form of, what's it called? Reflection?
Therapy.
Yeah. It is. Like I said, man, these sessions are therapeutic.
Yeah.
Do not on, man.
Well,
thus is the days of like sand through the hourglass.
Well, that's just a little bit, There was a lot more that was happening. And, dead set, a clear mind helps a lot.
I've always said, like in the last 2.5 years, I've done a mental 180. Remove myself from toxic situations, toxic people.
Bingo, bingo.
You know what? Yep. No, I don't need this.
No.
And it helps.
Yeah.
I haven't been sick, like actual sick, I think one time since me and you stopped working at that joint.
What a miracle.
One time I've been sick.
Yeah.
And that was when I was under severe stress.
Yeah. I believe
through COVID.
Yeah.
Nonetheless.
Yeah, I believe you because, I've been the same. I've been quite relatively healthy.
Man.
Whereas when I was working and had the pressures on, mate, I was sick every other week.
Yeah. I had chest infections.
I barely recover, and then I get another bout of, respiratory illnesses.
It was all chest infections and dust.
Yeah.
Congestions and viruses.
Totally. Yeah, totally.
It's nuts.
Yeah.
I think that the power of, it's not even stress, because stress, you'll always have stress of life, whatever. But it's literally the point of stress that we don't need.
Yeah.
That's avoidable.
That's right. Just stay away from toxic people. And if you see them in your life,
run
the opposite way.
You know what? I've got to get you back in here, but I want to...
No, dude.
I was just trying to think. Half the shit we used to argue about it on Smoko.
Man, if you ever need world politics, whatever, politics local, world politics.
Local.
I'm your man.
I know, I was going to say local as in down to your, district.
District, down to your...
down to the 3174.
Sub-district, yeah, that's it, mate. Yeah, well, I'm there. You know me.
Done. I'm going to have you in there.
Anytime, buddy, anytime. You want a special guest, I'm here for you, man. Seriously, I have a lot to vent if you need it.
Done. I've got to thank you for coming in, honestly.
How can you do? Yeah, no worries, man.
I know you got a lot on your plate,
yeah.
but hopefully it's clear skies from here. It sounds like the worst of it's done.
Look, it's done, and things will settle eventually. It'll be interesting to see what happens when the AVO runs out, whether she goes back to her psychotic ways or not.
Are you prepared for that?
Yes and no. I'm just hoping that, Look, in my mind, she's the mother of my children, whatever. Yes, they have the right to see her, whatever, and I do everything I can. I even talk my children into seeing her. So, I'm not a bad person, but like I said, I'm prepared for it. I guess I am. But who knows what will happen? We're dealing with people that are irrational. You can't predict anything with them. But like I said, I don't want to really dwell, let that thing hold me back. All right, it's done. That's, survived. Like I said, it was bursting through, the surface of the waves and just getting that deep lungful of air and continuing. I'm alive. Okay, let's get to shore and let's work on shit. Yeah. No, everything's good, man. Like I said, don't worry about that. Let's move forward and be positive, and just for the kids' sake as well, you got to be positive. Well, one day, maybe, I might find someone out there, I'm a sucker for punishment, but hey, it's just me.
That gimp mask and outfit's done look a lot better, man. It's closer to home. Come in.
Yeah, come in. Sign this waiver.
Yeah. Just an NDA waiver. You need the beads on the door.
Oh, God, Enter. And you've got those Josh sticks wafting through. Oh, man.
I don't know what's going on in your house these days, man.
Nah, that's pretty simple, man. Nothing's going on. Nothing's going on. Just living with my kids and having good times and building memories, that's most important, building memories now that they're young, and, they need they need me there. So I made the sacrifice of looking after them.
I think the whole building memories thing is underappreciated. It's weird.
Totally underrated. Yeah, it really is.
Lately I've been sort of reminiscing about a lot of shit from back in the day. And I'm remembering things, whether it was trips away or, certain locations and whatever. And I actually remember more than you stop and think. It's like, shit, I remember that day.
Yeah.
You must have done with blah, blah, blah.
And how happy do you feel remembering, something like that? Something trivial. It doesn't have to be big.
Yeah.
And this is what my parents always say to me, it's at the end of the day, we're nothing. We're here today, gone tomorrow, and then all that remains is our kalosini, is our good, will or good reputation, or if you're a grumble guts and you're a bad person, that's all they're going to remember you for, being an asshole. That's what they're going to remember you for. And that's wisdom, Be the best you can be nice to everyone. People fuck up all the time, yeah? You've got to be able to forgive them.
Fucking up is human.
Yeah. Forgive them. Move on. Build a bridge. Some people are incapable of doing that, and that's what makes them toxic.
I think my thing is I don't want to build bridges with people that refuse to see their own faults.
Correct.
I don't want to hear that they're incapable of seeing it for themselves. Like, no, fuck off. We're all on the same rule should apply.
True. If you can forgive them and then just write them off, you don't have to be best friends with them or anything. Just write them off. Don't worry about it. See you later. You know.
But that's what I mean.
Yeah. That way, you don't build the toxicity within you.
That's what I'm saying. Building the bridge for yourself to get past, even if it's one incident or 10 incidents or someone's karaktera.
It's not for them. You're doing it for yourself.
No, for yourself.
Yeah.
But you need to remove yourself from that environment.
Of course. You're not going to stay in a toxic environment if you don't have to.
Yeah.
My point was I had to. I had no choice. Okay?
Yeah, we all
years.
sit in shit for longer than we have to. We're all going to face that at some point.
Yeah.
I refuse to listen to, why don't you just get up and leave, or why don't you just do this, or why don't you just quit, a job.
It's not that easy.
It's never that easy.
Never that easy.
But sometimes you can assess the whole situation and say, you know what? That situation that you're talking about is literally that easy.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, look, there are times where, people are glutton for punishments. Well, what are you sitting there, mate? Get up and go. Like, get going, move forward.
I can move forward from a toxic situation and a toxic person, but as long as that person is able to willingly accept that feedback and reflect and make a change. I know that my personality has done a 180 in the last 6 years.
Yeah.
I've done a lot of work to backpedal and just write a few things, you know what, I didn't react the best in that situation.
That's great, because if you can do that, that means you're growing.
That's the point.
You are growing as a person.
Someone said to me the other day, oh, that person's just, they're incapable of seeing, how they are. That's not my fucking problem.
Yeah.
Because, you're a bloke that I'd love to have more coffees with every now and then. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Why should I clutter it up with fuckwits that don't give me the time of day or pay me the respect or anyone around them?
Yeah.
Because that's just how they are. No. That's not just how they are. They might be. Doesn't mean it's for me.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. Totally.
I'm really big on that.
Totally, yeah. And you should be able to do that. You should be able to move on, grow as a person. And look, you seem a lot calmer than, from what we used to be back in the day in the old dungeons, mate.
That's because you're in my dungeon now. That's why. Thanks a lot, there.
Yeah, egging it out. I'm really happy to catch up with you again. And it's been a long time, man.
It was pre-COVID.
It was.
It was pre-COVID.
I remember the last time you came to my dungeon.
Yeah,
my
it was
house.
your joint. And I think I may have just left the hood, maybe, possibly.
Oh, you didn't? No, I don't think you did, because you would have told me.
Okay.
Yeah, so you were still in the hood.
Fucking hell. Well, then, man, that's early 2020.
Yeah.
Very early 2020.
Yeah.
2 years.
Yeah. No.
Yeah, one of the boys I saw last night, I hadn't seen 3.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah.
But it feels great. I mean, it feels like we haven't.
No, it's just standard,
it's just feels natural, like we haven't been apart.
If it was earlier in the day and it was colder, it would feel like we're just sitting up at Smoko.
That's it. 15 minutes are up. We got to go. Let's stretch it out another 5 minutes. Work twice as hard.
We'll end on this. What was the actual code? When you went back to your transporter, you picked up the headset. What did you actually say? I can't remember.
I can't remember now.
You'd sign on.
Yeah.
Like you'd go to the clock card, the thing.
You put your number in.
Go back to the machine. Sign me off was when you'd sign off.
Yeah,
how did you get the menu?
Sign me on.
Was it sign me on?
Yeah, sign me on. And then you,
Are you sure?
Voice.
No, because you'd get the headset and you'd trigger it and then you'd say sign me off now.
Yeah. That was to get off.
You said sign off. Are you sure? Yes.
To sign me on.
Yeah, so was it sign me on?
Sign me on now.
What was it, break?
That was sign me off, and then it would ask you what it was. You say tea break or lunch break.
Wait, so it'd be like... No, it would be give me a break.
Yeah, or give me a break. That's another one, yeah.
Yeah, you go...
No, it was give me a break.
You've requested a break.
Yes.
Are you sure?
Yes.
What kind of break are you
break
having?
Or lunch break?
Tea break.
Yes.
And then you'd go?
Yeah.
And
then you come back, sign me back on.
Would you say sign me back on?
Yeah, I think so, yeah. And sometimes he couldn't hear you, and you'd be sitting there swearing your head off, trying to get it to recognise your voice.
And then they'd say to you, why did you go back to Smoko like 5 minutes late? Because I was standing.
Or you go to the actual window and say, hey, I can't sign on, man. Oh, what time did you get back? I've been sitting there arguing with the machine for the last half hour.
Sign me off now.
Yes.